They are our hosts today. We are guests. They are guests. But thank you very much indeed for agreeing, the city and the province, to host this library. Indeed, practically it would not happen because with all the rules and regulations, you got to need lots of permissions from the city. Library. But thanks indeed for the support and the cooperation. And indeed, Madam Speaker, as you said, and as Max said, the mayors, Chef Makubu, Jolite Matongo, both of them, we had very, very good engagement with them. Parkstow referred to the discussion that they'd had with the architect of the library, David Ajaye. David was born in Dar es Salaam. In that sense, he's a Tanzanian. So Ambassador Mpungu, who's sitting next to me there, who's a Tanzanian, is very proud to claim him. But the reason David was born in Tanzania was because his father was a diplomat. So he was, when David was born, the father was the Ghana ambassador to Tanzania. So this is a Tanzanian Ghanaian, who is our architect. And then there was a coup d'etat in Ghana, and Kwame Nkrumah was chased away. So the parents ended up in England. So that's where David grew up. So in that sense, he became also an Englishman. But because he's always been an African, he's now back in Ghana. And I'm sure all of us heard him as he spoke. One of the occasions when he was here, when all of us discussing the conceptualization of this place, we took him to Freedom Park in Pretoria, or Tshwane. I don't know how many of us have been there. I can see one hand, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4, 5, 6. That's better than 1. 7. 8. David said he had never ever seen anything like that. Walking around Freedom Park and with the people at the park, they're explaining everything. And he was saying this is a place which all Africans need to visit. Because he hadn't seen anything like this which captured so much what it is to be an African. I was very glad when the mayor talked about tourism, or the speaker. Sorry, I've made you mayor. This country, as you know, is marketed everywhere in the world as for the sun, the beaches, the elephants and the leopards and the hyenas and all that, the wildlife. But I keep saying that we are more than that. Why don't we tell these visitors, come to South Africa, we'll take you to Mapungubwe. Because here you have this extraordinary place where you find, the golden rhino. What it tells is that these South Africans then, many, many centuries ago, mined gold and were able to fashion it, and that's why you got the golden rhino. This is high technology, those years. And you could see at Mapungubwe that they were trading with China. Why don't we tell the whole world that, look, come. Yeah, sure, you'll see the elephants and the lions and go and lie on the beach, but there's this other South Africa. We compete with Tanzania, with Kenya, with Chad, about this definition, the cradle of humanity. Yeah. But people let them come and see. These are the origins of human beings. But we don't tell that kind of story. Come and see the lions and lie on the beach. Yeah. Many millions of years ago, the Karoo was flooded. Very dry now. And that's why you would find there enormous stone fossils. Animals and plants that got drowned and over the whatever have turned into stone. So okay, they dig up the stone fossils. You see the plant and animal life that used to be there. Dinosaurs and this and that and the other. It's said that two areas in the world which show the origin of the earth. And one of them is the Barberton Mountains. I mean, I'm saying, why don't we say all of that? Come to South Africa. When you've had enough sunburn, let's go and see. Where the earth, very earth was formed, where humanity emerged. We would be able to say, Speaker, come to Johannesburg. Come to this tourism place here. To see how the South Africans, the Africans are engaging one another in the context of their past, saying, but what do we do about ourselves? I'm sure that all of us here, certainly the South Africans present here today, would, I hope, be very, very conscious of this. That indeed one of the main challenges we face is talking to one another to say, what do we do about ourselves? About this country, lots and lots, too many problems. Very many bad things, strange things, bad things. What do we do? And this library, the place where we can engage one another like that. Maybe draw inspiration from Julius Nyerere, from Kenneth Kaunda, from Kwame Nkrumah, and so on. But in the end, we must be able to say among ourselves as Africans, what do we do about ourselves? And let the rest of the world come and maybe learn a lesson that this is what the Africans do. I want to say thanks a lot to everybody for coming, but thanks to the Johannesburg and Gauteng for being our hosts today. And I am quite certain that the project will be done. It's going to cost a lot of money, lots and lots of those 100 rands. But I'm sure it will be done. Just one last thing about our architect, which I think says something about the person and this project The northern suburbs, all of us know Johannesburg. The northern suburbs of Johannesburg are very heavily forested. It's not all of the areas of Johannesburg. Soweto has no trees, or very few. But this part of the world has lots of trees. And the architect has insisted. You see, what he showed there is the buildings on 4 plots. 1, 2 plots that side, the plot number 3, plot number 4 behind me. And he has insisted that the construction of these buildings must not result in one single tree destroyed. So if you looked at that picture, you can't see. But what it actually means is some of them, very old trees, have to be uprooted and replanted. Because it's insisting, not one tree must be destroyed. So I'm saying that says something about the architect, and that says something about what we want to build there, here. Or may I say the last thing about the architect? No, that was the second last. The last is a matter that the speaker referred to. She said something ethnic. I don't know that English word. But what she was talking about, you saw those buildings are red. Because the architect said, look, what we must do, as he talked about Africa's past, this formation of the African person, who are we as Africans? And he went and had told his history, what he had done to look at South African and African history and so on, and came with this concept which resulted in these round buildings. In Xhosa, those buildings are called Amanqukwala. Manqukwala is like that, with a little door. But the reason they are red is because he said, let's also go back to the traditional technology that the forefathers and foremothers and so on used. Mud brick. So we objected. We said, no, but David, you can't do that. This important place may be built of mud brick. So he said, look, I'm insisting that let's do as much as possible not to lose our past, our history, this thing which made us Africans. And this technology is important. And Mr. President, he said, what is this word? I forgive you. Yes, indeed, we take the red soil, but the manner in which we process it, it makes it harder than the hardest cement brick. But it's red soil. That's why the buildings are red. But it's a celebration of this African being. By a Tanzanian architect, a Ghanaian architect, British architect. But he says now he also wants to be a South African architect. But thanks a lot for coming, and thanks to the city, thanks to the province. Thanks a lot. Milo, here you are.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As we call on Ndate